Best in podcast, the best in town. You wanna get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river Thames, if you wanna go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest damn town in Montana, Great Falls. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
And I'm Shannon Newth.
And we're no damn experts. Shannon, today on the podcast, I'm pretty excited.
Yes.
I learned something last year while we were at this person's business establishment.
Okay.
That not everyone knows about signature holiday drinks.
Yes.
That's
I
all I'm
don't
gonna
think I
say.
knew. I mean, I've been in Great Falls for a while now, but I don't think I knew. Granted, I was not of legal drinking age when I first moved here anyway, so maybe I wouldn't have known about it. I don't know. The point is, not everyone knows about it, but they should.
They should.
Yes.
And there's some claim to fames at this business.
Absolutely. So, without further
Who do we have on the podcast?
Without further ado, we have Brad Watson joining us on the podcast today from the legendary City Bar in downtown Great Falls. Welcome, Brad.
Hello.
We're glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
So, Brad, start out with the basics. How long have you been in Great Falls?
I was born in 1960.
Going back to the beginning.
So that's where we start.
I got pictures of me behind the bar when I was 2 years old, probably.
Yeah.
This is a generational business here in our town.
Yeah, my grandpa built it in 1939.
Holy crap.
Wow.
They told him, so we're on 7th Street,
Mm-hmm.
and they told him he would never make it because he was too far out of downtown.
Oh, how funny to think about that now.
The first name of the bar was the Last Chance Saloon
Ooh,
for
very
maybe
Wild
6
West.
months, and then they changed it to City Bar.
That's kind of a shift from a very like old Western time sounding to a very like contemporary sounding
Yeah.
name. Why did they change it so quickly?
Why 6 months? Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Well,
seems
they-
fast.
They
Nobody liked it?
Scaring the good
They had to have a
customers away.
name. They had to have a name to open it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
so they just
then
kinda picked.
they had a contest, and someone named it the City Bar. So
huh.
There you go. Have you ever considered changing it back to the Last Chance
No.
Saloon? Okay. It's like, nope, we're going to City Bar.
it's always going to be the City Bar.
Okay. And you were telling me yesterday too, well, maybe this was just the recipe, but what was the relationship with the Wolf Bar?
Well,
town?
no, it was the Wolf Bakery.
Wolf Bakery,
Oh.
Bakery. Okay.
But I guess I'll go back real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to fast
So
forward.
my grandma and grandpa opened the place in 1939,
Okay.
and then my grandpa died in 1943,
Oh,
Oh,
my
wow.
gosh.
and so my dad and my uncle were only 12 and 11 years old.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And then, so my grandma had, his name was Alex McEwen. He managed the place up until the 50s. And my dad and my uncle went to Korea and they went to college. And they Bob and Bill Watson. And in 56, they took over the bar with my grandma.
Huh.
Wow.
And they started a corporation. And, my grandma died in 1963, and my dad and my uncle ran it. I started there in 1979, right out of high school.
Oh, I was going to say the age of 3.
Yeah. And I went to college till 1985. Yeah, I was on the 5 or 6 year program.
That's all right.
But-
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But my dad told me to stay in college as long as I could because
Man, I wish I could
because
go back and do that.
the real world starts
Yeah.
Yeah.
when you get out.
Mhm.
So anyway, I came back in 1985 and was working full time at the bar, and my Uncle Bob passed away in 86. So that's when I became part owner of the bar
With your dad then.
with my dad.
Okay.
And in 2001 or 1999, my dad had a stroke and paralyzed on the right side.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, man.
And he in 2001 I bought out the family.
Made
Yeah.
you the sole owner then at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my wife and I ran it, and my son is now helping her. Actually, he's
around.
part owner.
Okay.
He's third generation or fourth generation, excuse me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fourth generation, and glad to have him there.
Yeah.
And so that's the family history in the
Wow.
bar.
That's an impressive family history.
It
Do you worry
is.
about the next generation after your son?
Well,
It's like, how can I say this?
they better get busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying he's 29.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not worried about the next generation. I
Okay.
won't.
You won't be here for it.
Yeah, I hope I am.
Yeah. No. Yep. Yep.
But go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's a lot of family history, and I was just thinking of those dates. You didn't get to meet either one of your grandparents who started it then.
I kind of remember my grandma just
Do
a
you?
tiny bit.
Wow.
I would have only been 3
3,
years old.
right?
I
Yeah.
remember her old car pulling up in the driveway.
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah. I remember, this is jumping around a little bit, but 1939 you said is when they opened it, right? We'll get to this more, but the Tom and Jerry's, did that start the year that it opened?
Well,
Because I saw at the bar yesterday the original mixer for the Tom and Jerry batter, and I think it said 1939 on it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Well, the mixer can be from 1939.
That's true.
well,
But it said
it's
Tom and Jerry
it's like
mixer
a little,
on it. Yeah.
It's like a little hand mixer. Not,
Yeah.
Oh.
Not like nothing you've never seen.
No.
And my dad and my uncle, I guess, used to make a little batter and bring it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
With
that's
that
from
mixer.
the beginning. Yeah.
But
Pretty cool.
it must have been in the early 60s or something.
Okay.
My dad, the Wolf Bakery was making batter. So he would buy some from them, and they
Serve 'em.
started serving Tom and Jerry's at the
Yeah.
bar.
So tell me, because I wasn't there yesterday and I don't know anything about a lot of stuff, but the Wolf Bakery, was that here in Great Falls?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in Great Falls, and as a matter of fact, some of the Wolf family still comes into the bar,
Oh.
and they mentioned that
Do
was
they
want some
that was
royalties
their
off
dad's or
Yeah.
grandfather's
Critique the recipe.
recipe.
Yeah. So the Tom and Jerry that we're talking about here, this is what, I mean, City Bar is known for obviously generations of being in Great Falls. It's a staple, but the Tom and Jerry drink, and why we wanted you on the podcast now, is that it's such a staple for the holiday season.
And I learned some people have no clue what a Tom and Jerry is.
yeah.
I grew up drinking them.
Started you off young.
Well,
With the
there's only
hot liquor.
only a small amount of rum or
Whew,
I don't know what else is in there.
2/3 brandy and a
There we go.
third rum.
I was
Just
gonna
a
say,
small
the one
amount.
time I've tried it, the first sip, I'm like, oh, this is really sweet and delicious. And that just because I don't like,
You don't mix
I'm
it
more
up.
like a wine and a beer. And so the first time I ever had it, I was like, oh, this is so sweet. And then the next sip, I was like, woo, there's the liquor.
You drank the batter a little
I
bit.
d- I
You didn't
did.
stir it good enough.
No, I did. No, I didn't, because I was like, oh, this is sweeter than I expected.
Well,
And then it hit me.
I think there's people who just don't know how to drink it other than the
That
fact
would
that
be
they
me.
don't know what they are. So
Yeah.
do you know the history of the Tom and Jerry? Because I could tell you my history of the Tom and Jerry, and it's likely not correct.
I printed something off a couple years ago. It's in my thick file I have
Yeah.
for Tom and Jerry's.
Uh-huh.
And I can't
Remember?
recall
Yeah.
everything that was
'Cause
said about
It's beyond, the Tom and Jerry is beyond the City Bar. You all have just mastered
it's
the...
an old
mastered it.
traditional drink.
Yeah.
Like a hot buttered rum.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
who knows why
uh,
they
going
decided-
going back to England or
Sure.
something back in the old days.
Yeah.
I
But,
just wonder because my family grew up drinking Tom and Jerry's, and it
Mhm.
was a recipe of my grandfather's, so similar kind
Oh.
of heritage. And he was Norwegian, like the kind that came over on the boat, I think. Like a first
Probably didn't
generation
fly.
Norwegian. Well, yeah, but I don't know if I can't
Yeah.
remember if he was born here or not, but
Gotcha.
I don't think he was.
Okay.
And so he had this, I'm assuming, from the homeland tucked in his suit coat pocket. These are the stories I tell myself. And they're a holiday tradition for our family and has been the entire time I grew up. So when I learned that other people didn't know about it, I'm like, oh, maybe it's just a Norwegian thing or maybe it's just a Minnesota thing. But then, no, it can't be because...
Well,
It's
I
here.
hear that all the time from people.
Yeah.
Like my mom makes them, or my grandparents made them, and I just hear it from people all the time that
Yeah.
they used to make them at home, but
Yeah.
it's so much easier coming down to.
It is.
pick
Have somebody
some up.
else make it for you. Yeah. Had you heard of it? Well, I guess you grew up hearing about a Tom and Jerry. Did you know, or have you had a Tom and Jerry outside of your own bar?
No.
Ooh, good question.
No. I was probably so my dad bought that recipe from the Wolf Bakery.
Yeah.
Uh
The batter
it-
recipe for the
yeah,
Tom and Jerry.
the
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry batter recipe. And it was probably in the early 70s. We started making it in the basement of the bar. We had one mixer.
Okay.
Uh,
Was that a hand mixer still, or were you
no,
on
no,
the more the
no,
industrial?
It was like the old industrial
Yeah.
5-gallon mixer.
Okay.
And it was the Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, you got that too with the recipe?
yeah.
Gotcha.
Brad, the Tom and Jerry really is only an alcoholic drink, is it not?
Well,
Or can you drink it with like,
no,
Wha-
some people just drink it with hot water, but
Oh.
I know
I just am trying to figure out why a bakery is making this batter.
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't even think about that part.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of bakers that make 'em.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Albertsons. I see they have Tom and Jerry in their cooler,
Oh.
but it doesn't.
That's not the same.
It doesn't taste the same as
No.
ours.
No.
No.
I mean, I haven't had it, but I can guarantee yours is better because it's the long-standing tradition.
So what was your first job when you were making Tom and Jerry's in the basement? Like, because there's a process to
yeah.
it.
Well, back then we just used to. I mean,
Just
nowadays
do
I hire ladies to come in and crack eggs. and
Yeah.
You got to separate the whites from the yolks,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to just do that. I mean, we would only make 5 or 6 batches, and that was a lot
Yeah.
with one mixer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
now I have 4 mixers, and you can crank it out.
Yeah.
so
but-
how many gallons, let's talk in gallons instead of batches, how many gallons of Tom and Jerry mix do you make now?
Well, last year we made 1,000 and 1,000, almost 1,200. Say,
Gallons.
No, I mean, excuse me, 1,100 last year.
Gallons. a lot.
1,100 gallons.
Gallons
Lo-
of the batter.
1,100 gallons, and a batch will make 4 to 4.5 gallons. So
Mhm.
just say 4. So divide that, and I'll tell you how many batches, and then take
I'm
that
not
times
good at
50,
math, so, mhm.
and that'll tell you how many eggs
Yeah.
without the broken ones.
Yeah. So I got to visit with Brad yesterday for our listeners, and you can find this on our social media channels. I got to go in and I got video and footage
Oh.
and pictures of the process
Inside
in the special building now
Yeah.
of the Tom and Jerry's being made, and talked with Brad. So we'll share that on our social channels as well. So make sure when you're listening to this, go find that because it's neat to see that process. And I felt very honored to get to go and
Yeah.
glimpse this special process. Brad, tell her how many eggs you ordered this year for the batter.
Well, I ordered 15,000 eggs this year.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Brad.
I know, it's so many.
That is so many eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Where do you even store that many eggs? Because you can't get all that
They don't
made
come in at once, right? You get like weekly
Oh.
no.
shipments.
I get weekly shipments.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Just stick them out in the parking lot. Hope it stays
Right.
cold enough. Yeah.
And when do you start making batter? Because I don't know when people start ordering Tom and Jerry's. I think it's a Christmas one, so you gotta wait until like 2 weeks before Christmas before you have
Mhm.
them, or New Year's Eve, whatever your thing is. But
Well, this year I started like the 7th of November.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
But usually I like to start like the middle of November.
Mm-hmm.
Say 10 days or about 10 days before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Okay.
But I started early this year because I knew I had some new help and I wanted to train them, and it worked out because that was the first snowy cold day there was.
Yeah, that does work out nicely.
But and that's when it's colder out and snowy, it gets people in the mood for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels right.
It does.
And you heard Shannon allude to this. So when you go to the City Bar, it's a brick establishment on Central Avenue. Really nice place. Beautiful back bar.
Mm-hmm.
Really dapperly dressed bartenders. Let me just say
They
that.
do look very nice. Probably the best dressed.
Yeah, it just creates that nice feel. They wear ties, white shirts. It's okay.
Well,
I digress.
my grandpa started that tradition with the white shirt and tie, and that's if you look, there's an old picture on the wall, and it's called Rogues Gallery, and it's Rogues Hall of Fame Gallery, and it's got a whole there's probably 50 bartenders on it or more. And I mean it's back from in that vintage. And they all have shirts and ties on.
Yeah.
And,
I like that.
And
I do
white
too.
white shirts and ties. And my dad stuck with that tradition and I stick with it. There's a couple days a year, like St. Patty's Day, I ordered green shirts.
Shake it up.
And Christmas stroll, tell them to wear a Christmas shirt or something.
Yeah.
And Christmas Eve.
Yeah. I like that, though. It's classy, and now it's set apart because not very many places still do
And
ties and
and
colored
I
shirts.
hear compliments all the time, and so do my bartenders and my help.
It's something simple, but elevates the experience and the feel in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's inside the
Yep.
City Bar.
While you're on the inside, I want to say I want to say
Okay.
something about that back bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is gorgeous,
That-
Brad.
That back bar came out of the old Falls Hotel in 1939. It was stored in the basement and covered underneath coal ash, because back then they had
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
the old furnaces.
Oh wow.
But they took it down. At that time is when Prohibition ended.
Mm-hmm.
Or when Prohibition started, they put it in the basement. They
Yeah.
took the back bar down.
I've heard that about some in Great Falls, that they kind of disappeared to be saved for a while
Yeah.
rather than destroyed.
But
which I'm glad.
my grandpa bought that, and he put it in the City Bar when he built it.
That's neat.
But it's all stained glass, and it's Brunswick, so it came up on one of the river boats.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And I heard there's one like in Moore, Montana, that looks just like it.
Oh
Well,
There was a guy that wrote a book about.
yes, Paul Snyder.
Yeah.
I love Paul. He's my mom's neighbor. Fascinating. I did. I seem to reference my TV days every time we do a
Yeah.
podcast, but I did a story for TV with Brad with Paul, about that book. And I've been thinking he would be a great guest to have on too. His book is called Make Mine a Ditch, and it's a photographic journey of all the like old historic back bars throughout Montana. It includes quite a few in Great Falls. You can get his book at the History Museum, among other places. But yeah, did he come?
I thought
and
it was.
No, that ours is in there.
okay.
In that book.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was weird. She knew about this book and the author. Like she just pulled that out of her pocket. I'm like,
Well, I did pull it up.
that is crazy that you even knew this book existed, and then the author.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when you had him on,
oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
but he spent quite a bit
Yeah.
of time down the bar.
Yeah.
And he still stops in for lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
And
So how old do you think that back bar is then? If it,
If it came to the bar in 39.
late
Yeah.
1800s.
Oh my gosh.
good Lord.
How do you? So We're getting a little off topic, but that's fine. How do you maintain this? Well,
How is this off
that's
topic?
the story of the podcast. Well, no, we've diverted to the back bar, but no, it's not off topic. How do you maintain a bar that is that old?
Right, the
Well,
wood and the...
My dad told me a story once that he decided to clean it,
Oh boy.
and he
can't wait
cleaned
for
it so
this.
well that he took the varnish off.
Oh, no.
So him and my uncle had to stay up all night and
Refinish it.
refinish
Oh
it.
my gosh. And this is not a small bar either.
Well,
Back bar.
it's not the biggest one in the world, but it's
Still seems like quite a
It-
task.
well, yeah. And the stained glass is beautiful in it.
Yeah.
And the old back bars like that came up, they're
Yeah,
just
works
they're
of
very
art.
they're very unique. They are
Yeah.
works of art,
Hmm.
and they're cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, now I'm going to go searching for its twin.
Oh, and more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought
There's only...
I'd have to look in Paul's book.
Yeah.
It's in there.
I'm going to... great Christmas gift idea for
Yes.
the drink lover in your life.
Yep.
So that's a cool story about the back bar.
Mhm.
The other thing that's neat about the city bar is it also has place to have sandwich and soup for lunches. Really nice thing. The parking lot surrounds the building, and you're sitting here going, why are you talking about the parking lot? Well, because it has a mural now, which is
Oh, yes.
absolutely stunning as well. The Chrome Panthers? No.
Well, that's on one. Well, there's two. I guess, yes. The Chrome Panthers are on one side of the building. And then there's another one,
Lifestyles.
yes, on the building across
Yeah.
Oh.
from you, the
yeah,
Hot Hive building.
And there was a Korean guy that did the one on the Lifestyle building.
Yes.
And very nice guy. I talk to him every day because he's in my parking lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
Did you get worried? Because you
but
don't
he
get...
was there for like a whole week,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and he just was very meticulous about. And you walk out there and it looks just wonderful.
Yeah.
And then a couple years ago we bought the old Eisler building, and so on the west wall there is where the
Those
Or-
Panthers.
well, they're not panthers.
Or they're
mount-
technically mountain lions, aren't they?
They're mountain lions.
Okay.
But
But they're chrome.
Yeah.
he
Kind of like this mirror
yeah,
reflective thing going.
He put some silver in there when he did it.
Yeah.
And he told me that when the sun hit, they'd shine.
Yeah.
Even
It's
when
really
you take
cool.
even when they're not shining, you take a picture of them,
It's dimensional.
and,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
it comes out.
Yeah.
But
Did
they're
you
really
get-
cool.
Did you get worried? Because my understanding is that you don't get to say in what art goes on the building. Like you just say, yeah, I'll take some art, and then they show up and they paint whatever they want on there.
That's a true story.
Was it nerve wracking?
And I asked the question quite a few times, but when the guy
They
showed
don't
up,
give you the answer.
he showed up on a Friday night, and he actually sketched the picture.
Yeah.
Did you
So
get?
when we showed up the next morning, it's kind of sketched on the
Yeah.
wall. First, a person came by and painted the wall black,
Right.
Okay.
and then he came along and sketched it.
They don't come with like a portfolio and say this is what I'm thinking,
You get what you get.
and you don't throw a fit.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
You got some neat ones though.
Oh,
around
it's
you.
really
Yeah.
cool, and both of those that surround my building, it just brightens up the whole block.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think the whole downtown,
Mhm.
all those murals downtown.
Oh.
I just think it's a wonderful thing they're doing.
And then we can edit this out if it's not allowed, but I did hear a rumor that you are hosting the artist reception next year for Arts Fest Montana.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, but yeah, we are.
Well, that's going to be fun.
Yeah,
That
we'll
will
figure
be.
it out. It will
Yeah.
be. It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
And then, so you get to the city bar, you do the murals, you're like, oh, great, now I'm going to go inside. And if you drive into the parking lot off of Central, it looks like a little That looks like a house that you're going to pay a toll gate or a house that you pay for parking in. And it looks really neat. And it's a little A-frame. I'm going to call it the ticket taker building because it really does feel like if you were going to drive in, you'd have to get your parking validated or check in and go, here's my credentials. I'm supposed to be here. But none of that happens. And that, I believe, is where the Tom and Jerry's are made.
Yeah, we converted that over in the early thousands.
Did it
In the
used to
early
be a
2000s.
parking hut?
Did it
No.
ever serve as a
No.
toll booth? Yeah.
There's
Okay.
an old picture on the wall back in the early 40s. And actually, the Top Notch Cafe was right next door to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then that A-frame was on the other side, and it has
Oh.
on the roof. It has a State Farm logo on it. So
Oh.
it was an insurance office back then.
Oh, very
And
small
then the big
insurance
building,
office,
which is
yeah.
Lifestyles now,
Uh-huh.
that was the city food market.
Oh.
Huh.
So, but then my dad and my uncle in the 60s or 70s, they bought that parking lot all the way up to, back then it was the Coast to Coast building. That's where Coast to Coast was. And they bought the parking lot up to the Coast to Coast wall. And that building, it was a lot of different things. Steve's Pizza was in there at one time.
Oh.
They cooked very good pizza and stromboli.
Ooh.
It was
I
really
could go
good.
for some stromboli. That sounds good.
And then there was a couple different things. I can't even remember everything
Yeah.
it was.
So now you own the parking lot, the hut, the Tom and Jerry hut,
Mm-hmm.
City Bar, Eisler Building, which then I assume comes with the parking lot on the other side of that.
Well, no, I bought that parking lot
Oh.
from the old Triple Crown.
Wow.
Which was a hotel where the new Gibson is going to be, which was owned by
My dad and my uncle
Oh.
and
Ben.
two partners. They built that in I think 76 or 78.
You guys taking over that whole block, whole couple blocks there.
Well, they built a motel,
Okay. Yeah.
but then I ended up getting that parking lot.
Okay.
But then there was three. But we sold the Triple Crown in 1999.
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
owned it for quite a while,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, they owned it, and my mom worked there. And when I met my wife, when I got out of college in '85, my wife didn't have a job, and I think in 1986 she started working at the motel with my mom.
Well, there you go.
And my mom was running the motel then.
So it's always been one of my dreams to have a bar and a hotel
Oh.
because really they're so
Simpatico.
there we go. Did you run promotions like stay here and get a free drink at the city bar?
We had drink cards,
See?
That's
That's the
Becca's
fun
dream.
thing.
the same drink
Yeah.
cards that you have up here.
Yeah. Same ones we can hand out here. Yeah.
No, yeah, we had drink cards, and so people would come over and use them. Sometimes they'd pull them out of their wallet, and it was kind of pieced together.
So like they stayed and then came back?
Yeah. and they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
I
we
should
had
use
we had a
this.
lot of salesmen that
Oh.
stayed there through the years,
Mm.
and a lot of good people that and they'd come over to the bar. They'd walk right across the street.
Yeah, it's really convenient.
Mm-hmm.
But-
That'll be nice with the new Gibson hotel
Yes.
going in there.
Yes, it
yeah.
will.
Have that renovated and have a motel back next door to you.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
And brighten up the block and
Mm-hmm.
the front of the Eisler building. I was hoping to get it done by September, but you know how materials are to get right
Yeah.
now.
Oh
Mhm.
man.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
challenging.
The materials are basically in,
Mhm.
but the weather's not nice now. So,
Yeah.
but that's going to brighten up the block too once
Yeah.
we put the new fascia on that I start building.
Yeah.
So are you going to disclose what's going to happen with that building, or is it just going to be a pretty building and
Well, I'm going to tell you this much.
Ooh.
you heard it here
Scoop.
first, people?
I'm not adding on to the bar.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we
The
know what
city
it's
bar
not.
is going to stay the city bar. I'm putting a handicap bathroom over there.
Oh,
And
that's
a walk-in cooler for the kitchen.
Hmm?
And then my Tom and Jerry's are going to move on the back.
Oh, out of the hut.
Oh.
Okay.
I would think
on
with
the other side.
15,000 eggs, you'd probably need a bigger space.
It's time.
Yeah. It's time.
When you told, how many people make the Tom and Jerry mix batter?
I have a crew about 5 probably, 5 or 6.
So you got 5 or 6 people, and then you throw Shannon in there. There's very little room, I would have to think, in the A-frame to move around.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. It's small. Also, so I learned this yesterday because you're dealing with correct me where I'm wrong here, Brad. You're dealing with the eggs specifically and separating them, and you wanting them to rise and things like that. Like it's a specific temperature, and you're like the humidity level in there affects how the batter turns out.
So
'Cause
with
it
your
was like-
body in there, you really screwed up.
I know.
a
I was
batch.
asking. I was like, "Am I?
I don't know
It's
what
my
you did.
hot
I don't
air.
know what you did, Shannon.
Is my hot air coming out of my mouth?"
I mean, she is little, but
Yeah,
there is still that factor.
I still create air and humidity. Well, and it was roughly like 75 degrees in the
Yeah, I
hut.
try and keep around 74 in there.
Yeah. So it's
It
a
works. It
specific
works
temperature.
good. But then if it gets, you don't want it too hot in there either.
Yeah.
If it gets up to
For lots of
77,
reasons.
78,
We'll start
that's
baking the
that's
eggs.
not good
yeah.
for the batter either.
Yeah.
It's just a meticulous
Process.
process
Yeah.
of making batter.
Yeah.
And,
I had
and
no idea.
So you have
And-
an egg cracker. You have an egg separator. You have
Well-
the powder sugar adder.
well, super fine sugar.
The special sugar combination.
Sugar adder.
The secret ingredient.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have packagers because they
It's all the same crew. Well, the egg crackers do the eggs. They leave them there, and then the Tom and Jerry people make it, and they mix it. See, you beat the whites and yolks separately, and then you fold them back together,
combine.
Mm-hmm.
then you package it in quarts or half gallons, or if someone orders a gallon, we have a gallon, and then we have our bar gallons that we serve out of over at the bar.
And you've had people making these. I mean, one of the guys that I was with yesterday when we were doing the footage, I mean, he's been there for, what did he say, 22 years making the Tom and Jerry mix?
22 years.
Yeah. So they've like perfected this, and it's like a little, well, it's not a science experiment ideally, but it's science in the sense that you're like, okay, you're watching to make sure it's rising or coming to the level you want it to, and then like, okay, how can we make sure it's, consistent batch after batch? It's really quite fascinating to watch this process.
It's a manufacturing process,
Yeah.
which I completely nerd out about because every component builds upon each other. And if you have any slip, like if your egg person is screwing off that day, it really screws up the entire process.
It still tastes good regardless.
Oh,
Right.
It might just not look like
Just like
you
we
want it
talk
to.
about candy, it looks horrible. It still tastes fine.
Right.
That's not the point.
So if there's a batch that kind of follows, what I do is I put those into bar gallons,
Right.
and then we use it over the bar.
Because they have the ones in the
That's
bar, and
why
then
I
they have
always
the batter
tell-
that you can buy the batter separately.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I always tell them make the bar gallons last.
Yeah.
So, folks, you might be sitting here thinking 15,000 eggs, 1,100 gallons of Tom and Jerry mix, and a gallon makes how many drinks?
A gallon,
Yeah.
about 25.
Okay. So if you're doing math quickly, and in public,
can't.
that's a lot.
It is
a lot of Tom and Jerry's to be consumed.
Here, I have a calendar.
No, we don't need to do math. But what I'm getting at is you might be thinking, good Lord, will I ever be able to get into the City Bar to have one? Well, yes. You're always going to be able to get into the City Bar and have one. Brad ships worldwide this mix from people who have fallen in love. You can also pick it up at the City Bar and take it home, like if you live locally, but you can also get it shipped to you.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive to ship.
Yeah.
But worth it.
Yeah. No kidding.
Well, I have guys. Oh, there's about 3 of them. I ship some to Denver and some to Arizona.
Ooh.
There's a girl
That's hard. It's hot.
that she's down in Florida now. She used to be in Wisconsin, and I ship her some down every year. And then, like if you're in Montana, say like in Billings, it's cheaper to ship because you can just they drive it down overnight like
you
UPS.
can keep it a better temperature the whole way.
Well, it doesn't have to be flown out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you overnight it flying, that's really expensive. But if you say you're just overnight it to Billings, then they have cart trucks that go there every day.
Yeah.
Makes it easier.
But if you're in Billings, seriously, just drive up.
Billings,
Hang out,
California.
Spend the night.
Yeah. Come up for the Christmas tree. Yeah. Come up during the holiday season.
Get your
worth it.
Pre-order your bucket.
Yes.
It'll just be waiting for you.
I also learned, this probably wasn't, this was just an epiphany for me. The fact that you can use this batter on more than just with your brandy and rum mixture. I mean, you can use the batter for all kinds of things. And is it Talon? Is that the gentleman's name?
Yeah.
Yes. So we were talking yesterday that he will put it on top of pies sometimes. And I thought, you know what? So my mom is dairy free. She can't have like delicious whipped cream on top of her pie. And so I was telling her, I was like, hey, I may have found a way for you to have like a creamy, sugary goodness on top of your pie that won't make you have an allergic reaction. So I've thought of these things. I'm going to have to get some.
I've also heard, maybe it's a lie, listeners, you know, half 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It might make good pancakes.
Oh.
Yeah,
I had a guy by the name of Jim Shanahan. He worked at the bar for years. I'd always give him some batter for it has a little shelf life, a couple days, and after that I'll rotate into a bar gallon. But he'd always take like a half gallon and he'd put it in pancake batter.
That sounds really good.
And then across the street there with Brian's Top Notch, if I overmake some, and which can happen, it goes day to day. You don't know how much you're going to sell.
Yeah.
But I give Brian a little bit of my leftover stuff, and he puts it on top of French toast, pancakes, and also he puts it in his pancakes.
Yeah.
So
That sounds really good.
Yeah, so it's not just for drinking.
No.
I mean, that's the
You
only
can
way
add
I
it-
knew
yeah.
growing up. But
And you can make it in a non-alcoholic way too, a
Yeah.
hot drink without the alcohol if you want to as well. Or
my dad for years tried to perfect like imitation brandy.
Oh.
And one time he did, and he took it to one of the rest homes, and so they could all have
Sample.
have something that tasted like the Tom and Jerry without the booze.
Yeah. Would it be good on top of hot chocolate, or is it
Oh yeah,
like too much sugar?
No, a lot of people do that.
Okay.
And it
Sounds
is a
good
lot
too.
of sugar.
Yeah. I like it though. I
That's
kind of
what
want to
makes
try
it
that.
sweet.
Yeah. And the quart size that you can get, what makes roughly 7 drinks? Is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah. See, I think that would be a good size to go for. Get some of that for
Make the
the
commitment.
holidays. Just get. I don't want to be the only one in my family. Gotta
There's
finish this
Shannon
off.
at the Tom and Jerry's again.
We'll just get creative and try it in all kinds of things. Yeah.
So you're making batter every day.
This time of year, probably about every other day.
Okay.
But
And-
when December kicks off here,
Then it's every day.
yeah, like the last 3 days before Christmas, say the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, we'll make about 300 gallons just those 3 days.
So much. Are you sick of looking at the batter, smelling the batter,
Oh, yeah.
tasting the batter?
Do
Do you still sample it every year?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Quality control.
Gotta make
Yeah.
sure it's not poison. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Make sure everybody's doing their
Yeah,
job right in
uh-huh.
that little
Yeah.
hut.
Yeah. Are you sick of them at this point, or do you still enjoy them?
No, I have a couple a year.
Okay. Yeah.
You can't get sick of them because you only get them once a year.
This is true. It's
That's
not
my
like you're
thought
having them all the
process.
time. Yeah.
It's like if you're cooking something in your kitchen.
Yeah. You got to sample it.
Well, you sample it, but
Yeah.
how much of it do you sample?
yeah,
Yeah.
quite a bit. Quite a bit in
yeah.
my kitchen.
Yeah, mine too. So much so that by the time it's dinner, I'm not really hungry anymore. Okay, at the beginning of the podcast, we alluded to the fact that when I tried it for the first time, which I think sadly was only like last year or something, we'll change that now. It's a new in my holiday rotation now. But
Yeah. Also, listeners, just so you know, we didn't get a sample here
No,
today.
but
so.
I
I
think it's
messed that up, didn't I?
Yeah.
But-
I'm sure Shannon didn't tell you that.
well. No, after I was there yesterday, I was like, this seems a little finicky. I don't know how well this will like travel as the drink itself.
No, it goes good.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
You just
Sorry,
need to
Rebecca.
keep it cold.
Okay.
Don't freeze it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I messed up. We'll just have to go down there with Brad and have one there.
So your thought process
Yeah.
before I
So, yeah.
interrupted you was what?
The drink. It sounds like I did not properly prepare myself for my first sip.
Oh,
I
okay.
took I got the batter and then I got the alcohol. Am I supposed to stir it? What's the proper drinking etiquette for a Tom and Jerry?
Well, I'm going to tell you, and I listen to my dad tell many people this.
Okay.
You stir it with the straws,
Okay.
and then you drink it. And you get a little bit of
The milk mustache.
the milk mustache. But you never drink it out of the straw.
Okay.
No.
Because if you drink it out of the straw, you get all the booze off the
Yeah.
bottom, and then all that's left is the batter.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to stir it. And sure, the first drink you might not get much booze, but after that, you get the mixture of the batter and the booze.
Okay.
And the batter's 2/3 brandy and 1/3 rum.
Do you top? Let me preface
Top
this
it with
with.
nutmeg too.
Okay, that's where I was
Oh,
going, and
okay.
the reason I was hesitating is because I didn't want to sound like I'd never had a Tom and Jerry there, but it's not one of those things you remember when you're there.
We don't top it, but we have the
Either nutmeg.
we have the shakers out there
Oh, okay.
with nutmeg in
Your
it.
preference. Yeah.
Do you have cinnamon available or not? Is it just nutmeg?
No, just nutmeg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
Don't
screw
ruin
it
the
up
process.
with
Yeah.
cinnamon.
No.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that.
It wouldn't
But
add very good.
If you're making it with the pancake or like a waffle mixture or something with it,
Yeah.
you could
You
Sure.
can do
mix
whatever
in
you
some
want
then
that
at
French
point.
toast
Yeah.
or-
Oh, French toast. Yeah. That'd be good.
So, other claims to fame that the City Bar has beyond the Tom and Jerry, which is maybe the biggest. I don't know. But you are the largest casino in downtown.
Oh.
Or is it in Great Falls?
No, that's
You can stake your claim in anything you want and make people disprove you. That's we're Montana's number
style.
one podcast.
but I guess that's just in advertising what my father and I came
Yeah.
up with is downtown is the largest casino.
So
There
you
go.
have that
Prove 'em
component, historic back bar,
Mm-hmm.
great lunches.
Yeah, it's a very
And-
popular
Well,
place
while
for
you're
lunch.
while you're on lunches,
Okay.
I want to bring up my mother-in-law.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, this could go one of two ways.
well, we started lunch in 1990,
Okay.
My mother-in-law, and she had a bunch of friends that she brought in, and you'd hear them back there cackling and talking and laughing. But all those soups are my mother-in-law's recipes.
Oh, wow. That's
and,
neat.
they're all homemade. So my dad, I don't know, it was the early 90s after we started, he said, Patty's my mother-in-law, and he said, can you have Patty write those recipes down? And I said, well, yeah, I'll try. And so I asked her, I said, can you write those recipes down? And she gave me this ungodly look, like, well,
How
no.
dare you.
There's not really a recipe.
Are you firing me or what are you going to do? And I said, no. But if something ever happens to you,
Yeah.
we need to have the recipes.
Yeah.
And so she wrote them down.
How long did it take you to convince her to do that?
Yeah.
Well, I worked on my wife a little bit too.
Got to get her from a few angles here. Yeah.
And she did, reluctantly, but she did. And I put them in the bottom of the safe. And that's where they stayed. And in 2004, we remodeled the kitchen back there. It's not a great big kitchen, but we remodeled it. Well, she came up to me and said, do you have a copy of those recipes?
Oh.
I'm missing something in one of my soups there, and we can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. So I went and grabbed them. They were dusty. And I photocopied them all, and she told me right then, boy, I'm glad I wrote these down. She said, that's what was in there. That's what was in there.
Yeah.
And so it worked out being a good thing.
Well, that's good. You got to see her be happy that she wrote those down.
Well,
Obliged.
God bless her. She's in her early 80s, but she's down there every morning making soups.
Oh,
So
wow.
So she's still making the soup.
you got that right.
Wow.
Huh.
That's Patty's her name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Patty,
Good job, Patty.
well done.
Yeah.
And it's like during COVID, we were closed down. My wife and I and Patty go down there every day, and just to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And they'd stick around for 3 or 4 hours, and then I just during COVID, I got a lot of stuff done
Sure.
during that 6 weeks down there.
Yeah.
With the bar closed, I got the floor refinished, and
Yeah.
which I get done every year, but it was just a good time to do it.
Yeah.
Quite a few other things.
So Patty's soup can be accompanied by sandwiches.
The famous Reuben. That's probably the
That's what people should order.
My grandma loves
Tuesdays and
those.
Thursdays are both busy days.
Why are Tuesdays and Thursdays busy?
Well, because she specials French dips,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
and then she has tomato soup. Always on Tuesday and Thursday, but probably one of the most popular soups on Thursdays is turkey bisque.
Oh, turkey bisque.
Because she pressure cooks a real turkey breast every day,
Oh, my gosh.
and then she saves that turkey broth
Mm-hmm.
and makes this wonderful turkey bisque soup.
Ooh.
But it's the real thing.
Yeah.
That's just like our turkey breast. Those are popular sandwiches because it's real turkey. It's
Yeah.
not the pressed stuff or
Yeah.
so.
It's almost
So
lunchtime.
real
I'm hungry.
food. You're getting real food made by real people at the city bar.
Hefty meat sandwich is what.
Oh. I'm hungry.
There's no supper per se or evening meal available, correct?
Well, that's where you're wrong again.
Oh.
I knew
You
we
call
had
her out, Brad. You call her out.
I knew we had appetizers, but
Well, we have appetizers.
educate me.
We have appetizers and
But we have the evening meal option.
well,
Supper, dinner.
It we don't have traditional meals like we have sandwiches and soup, but we do have the appetizers, and then on there the chicken strips are really good.
Oh.
And we have pork chop John sandwiches. They're good. Got French fries.
Always good.
And then some traditional appetizers. Wings. Pork wings, we call them.
Fried green beans.
Fried green beans.
Ooh,
Those are my favorite.
I do like those.
I can't think of everything off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You just
Yeah.
have to prove me wrong. So thank
Which
you.
you did. Yeah.
We got
Good
that.
work.
We got that done.
Yeah. Pretty easily.
Yeah, one fell swoop can get that accomplished.
Yeah.
But we get people later at night that come in for the appetizers.
Did you
When-
serve appetizers till 1 or 2?
About 1:00.
Okay. That's good to know.
That
Then
is
we
really
always
helpful.
have our snack mix. I make this snack mix.
That's right.
Oh
I
my
forgot
God, I
about
forgot
that.
about the snack.
Me too.
That is
I-
It's so
fantastic.
good.
I take Gardettos and we put mixed nuts in with it, and the Frito twists, and and then some other nut mix.
And that's just
And-
brought to you at the table, right?
Yeah, if you come in to have a drink,
Yeah.
we serve the snack mix on top of popcorn, which we have
Oh my gosh, so good.
a real. We have our popcorn machine, and we
So-
make fresh popcorn every day.
I have to tell you, Mimosa Showdown,
Mm-hmm.
which is a fantastic event, but I will preface that with there's a lot of mimosas consumed during the course of that day.
Do you think?
Hey, I've heard the bars are happy when
Yeah, there you go.
that day happens.
Oh no, it's a good day.
However, I went down, did photos, checked in on everybody, seen how things were going, and then I went home, and my husband's like, "So, how was it?" I'm like, "Oh, it was fantastic. I tried the one at the city bar, and I really loved it." And I said, "But I didn't get to a lot of options." And he's like, "Oh," and I said, "Would you be interested in coming down to, sample some mimosas?" He's like, "Sure." And we get downtown, and he's like, "It's chaos down here." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "There's just herds of women going all over the place." I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What did you think was happening when I said the Mimosa Showdown?" He's like, "I had no clue." So we go to the city bar, and I'm like, "You got to try this drink." I said, "It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing." It had the amaretto flavors and then cherry. So you had that almond
Ooh,
cherry
yeah.
flavor in it. Oh my God, it was great. And so regardless, we're trying it. And then the snack mix came out. And this is my first time with the snack mix. I don't know why, but it is
Yeah.
my first time with the snack mix. Probably because I'm usually there for lunch. So I'm
Oh.
already ordering food. But
Yeah.
and Robert looks at me and he says, "Do they think we're drunk?" Or I'm like, "No, I think it just is a nice
Standard.
snack
Yeah.
to have." I'm like, he goes, "It's only my first, but we did have 2 there because,
they were
it was
amazing.
later in the day and there wasn't a lot of options left
Yeah.
for consumption."
Yeah.
So,
No,
but the snack mix was
we
amazing.
put that out to soak up some suds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good
and,
thinking.
and
I had some
make
with
peop-
my first
make-
Tom
make
and Jerry.
people
Yeah.
thirsty.
Yeah.
But while you're on
Smart.
that mimosa thing,
Yeah.
what'd you start 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
Well, we have a good friend, my wife Barb, and her friend, our friend Angie is her name, Angie Seabury. They create these mimosa like that one last year.
Mm-hmm.
But there was many bottles of champagne consumed
In the process.
creating.
Well, you got to sample a lot of it, Brad. You already said.
Well, I was at the table the other night, and they're already talking about next year.
Yes.
Oh, good.
What, and I can't remember what they told me. It'd be a secret anyway.
Right.
So they'd shoot me if I told you. So
Well, it was
They're
fantastic.
thinking
that
about
one
it.
last year was kind of made after. We have a drink called a Thunderbird. And,
Yep.
and it comes in a pitcher.
So a
And
little bit
you
more
get
than a drink.
six rocks glass with it. But my wife, when I first met her, her parents were living in Greeley, Colorado, And we went to this bar, and they wrote down this recipe. Vodka, Southern Comfort, triple sec amaretto, sweet and sour, grenadine, tiny bit of grapefruit and orange juice. And
you can have that year round.
we have that year round.
Okay.
But last year's mimosa, Angie wanted the mimosa to kind of have that little flavor in
That
there.
makes sense. Yeah.
So we ended up using amaretto, and you don't want to. You couldn't put all that booze in
No.
A drop of champagne.
in the mimosa.
Yeah.
But I went through a crap load of amaretto.
That's
It
usually
sounds
what
good.
happened. And if you are sitting here going, that sounds like a fun event. It certainly is.
People have a great time.
16 different mimosa options throughout town, and it happens the weekend of Mother's Day on Saturday, all because of National Mimosa Day, which is always May 16th. Usually people fact check me, but I have nobody here to help me with that. So it's going to be like May 13th, May 14th next year. So mark your calendars. It is a fun time, and you get to go and sample all of these. One of the things I did learn from some seasoned mimosa attendees, which I really appreciated, is they weren't drinking the full drink, which I think helped them. And I looked at them when they first started. They're like, oh, I'm going to get the drink. Then they buy the drink, but they only drink half of it. And I'm like, why aren't you drinking the whole thing? Did you not like it? They're like, oh, no, we're going to drink all 16 of these. And that does not make for a great idea if you're going to consume the full 16. But then, they alternated water. The first year, they learned a lot of lessons.
Okay.
There was a lot of lessons learned for the people attending.
Yeah.
So
They
we
came back
appreciate
stronger
that.
the next year. Yeah.
A little bit more prepared.
Yeah, if you had 16, it wouldn't make for a very fun Mother's Day, would it?
No. Your next
very
day
true.
is not good.
Between
You're
the
that
alcohol and sugar components
You're
of all
that
of that.
evening is not good.
Yeah. Maybe halfway through isn't so good. Yeah.
But,
Have a plan.
So I'll
drink
tell
the
you
water.
another drink that I'm going to talk about here real quick is our Bloody Marys. Or Bloody Marys is Caesars.
Okay.
But one of my bartenders that used to work at the bar lives in Lincoln now, and she came to town, and she still comes in and occasionally works busy days for me. But she said, have you tried that dill pickle vodka?
Oh.
So I called the liquor store, and I ordered a case of it. Usually there's 12 bottles in a case.
Okay.
And I said, send me down a couple bottles and we'll try it. And anyway, we took a picture, and we used Speaking Socially.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent a picture down there. And they put it out, and overnight we got 15,000 hits on it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And the phone's ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
And so I called the liquor store, and I said, can you send the rest of that case, the other 10 bottles?
Yeah.
He said, well, only six bottles come in a case.
Oh,
no.
So anyway, we got through that week. I couldn't sell any to off sale.
Yeah.
But ends up the owner shows up like a couple weeks later and thanked us because he got so much advertising out of that.
Wow.
But they are really good.
Huh.
Dill pickle Caesar.
Ooh. Caesar, that does sound good.
100% believe that because I've had it with cucumber vodka,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that.
No,
Pickle would be
those are
good.
too.
Yeah.
But I'll try it with dill pickle.
Yeah. Are you still serving those?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now they came out with it's called they have the regular dill pickle vodka, but they have a spicy dill pickle vodka.
Oh.
Which would work for
But my
Caesars
dad
too,
was
yeah.
always proud of the Bloody Marys and Caesars because it's like homemade.
Mm-hmm.
No mix.
Well, he's got his bottle of Worcestershire, which he puts some Tabasco in the Worcestershire, but not too much. People can always spice it up themselves.
Yeah.
But he never made him too hot, so like I said, if you want it spicy, grab a bottle of Tabasco and throw some in yourself.
Yeah.
So, is there an art to what goes in your Caesar or Bloody Mary? Do you stack it all with all the snacks? Bacon and fried chicken leg and shrimp and cheese. And
Well, at the city, you get an olive and the celery,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's
and you get your lemon and lime in
Just
there.
a light snack with it. Yeah.
I appreciate the photo op available with all the snacks on top for a Bloody Mary. But really from a
Practical standpoint.
that's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it simple for me.
Yeah.
I'm a simple girl.
Well, there it is.
I've seen them
sounds
go
good.
big, really big.
Yeah.
And that's just too much.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So,
Well, this sounds like the one for you.
so what else do we not know about the City Bar that we need to know to endear it more into our heart? If we haven't already.
I'm going to tell you this. I have a lot of good employees that have been there for a long time,
Yeah.
and I'm proud of that fact because they're good. I have a good core, I'm going to say, and they're excellent employees. And I don't know what else to say. They really are good at it. And they've got me through the last couple tough years when you can't find employees.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with COVID went on and people get sick and
Yeah.
Yeah.
they would cover for each other, and I'm really proud of my employees.
Well, you should be. I mean, what'd you say, Shannon? One of the Tom and Jerry makers have been there for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
That's almost unheard of.
Just making
got-
that
I
better.
got-
Yeah.
I've been married 33 years, and
Whew.
I got my bartender, Ronnie Ray. He started working there the year I got married,
Oh, wow.
And he's still there.
and he's still
That's
there.
impressive.
And
Well, you must be doing
then
something
I
right.
have another girl, Teresa. She's been there 30 years.
Oh, man.
Wow.
And also, my son and my wife.
Yeah.
It's a family deal,
Yeah.
and don't know what to do with any of them
Yeah.
without any of them. How's that?
That sounds a little better.
Why do you think that the Tom and Jerry has become especially such a seasonal staple, like a Christmas holiday season staple for people? I mean, it has its own legend. I mean, people want to make sure that that's part of their holidays, and we're telling people all over the place to come here to try it. Why do you think it's such a staple for the holiday season here?
It's just
So
it's a
good.
tradition.
Yeah.
And what I love seeing during the holidays, if you get a long holiday weekend or when people come home,
Mm-hmm.
is families coming in there, having a Tom and Jerry,
Yeah.
and they come to the City Bar to have a Tom and Jerry, just like they probably go over to Howard's and have a pizza, or they go to
Yep.
the Taco Treat and have a taco,
Yeah.
or they go to Borier's and have this, or
Yeah. As part of
and
what is Great
I'm-
Falls.
I'm proud of that fact too, of carrying on the tradition that my dad and my uncle and my grandpa started.
Yeah.
It is such an awesome thing. It is listed on our 10 drinks to drink.
Mm-hmm. When you're in Great Falls.
Yeah. All the things you can try.
Mm-hmm.
And such a cornerstone to these months that we're in, these colder, fun months where you may want to hibernate, but don't do it.
No.
Get out, stroll along the snow-fallen streets like you're in a Hallmark movie,
Yes.
and then slip out of that Hallmark movie into the City Bar and have yourself a Tom and Jerry.
And
That's
that
right.
great snack mix.
They warm me right up.
Yeah.
They really do. Well, Brad, thanks so much for hanging out with us and telling us all your deep, dark secrets.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
We've had a blast talking about Tom and Jerry's. There's always so much fun to be had and things to learn when we get to visit with people who have been part of our community since 1960.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a while.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm going to say this, that I'm happy the way downtown is right now.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Downtown has made a huge comeback in the last, say, 10 years
Mhm.
or longer, whatever.
Yeah.
But downtown's a good place to be,
Mhm.
and
It really is.
there's all kinds of stuff going on down there. Remember going back to when the mini house was there and it closed. There was there was different bars closing down there, and then I don't know, 10 to 15 years ago, a few places started opening back up,
Mhm.
and people were like, "Well, what do you think about that?" I said, "It's great
Mhm.
because that brings people downtown, and if they're gonna go there, they're gonna stop here maybe. I
Mhm.
mean it."
Yep.
And that's how it was back in the old days. I'm not gonna say old days, but when in the 80s
Yeah.
we'd go from bar to bar downtown,
Yeah.
and I see that.
Yeah. Supporting one another downtown.
Well, then the customers they can park their car and they can walk
Mm.
around downtown.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
an
a good thing.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely wonderful experience. I mean, it's Great Falls. I mean,
Mhm.
why wouldn't it be?
Exactly. It's just getting better and better.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, listeners, thanks for hanging out with us yet again on Montana's #1 podcast.
More than 100 episodes now.
Yeah. Maybe the contest is still going. You'll figure it out if it is. Or email us information at visitgreatfalls.org. We'll tell you there. So until we see your bright, smiling, happy, healthy face here in Great Falls, we hope you're creating amazing memories with your friends and family wherever you are. We'll see you soon.
We're No Dam Experts is the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town. Damn, that felt good.